but let's take you now live to where the National Human Rights celebrations or commemorations are taking place. President Cyril Ramaphosa has reportedly already arrived, expected to officially open the new Reagile community library in Koster in the northwest. You saw earlier we spoke to the Premier of the Northwest as part of the contingent that's awaiting the President's arrival for this official opening of the Reagile library. And our reporters on the ground telling us earlier that this community really is in dire need of a library, and one of the ways for the community to access one of the human rights, which is access to education. The new facility has been made possible by funding of 7.5 million by the Community of Library Service Grant, which is administered by the Department of Arts, Culture, Sports and Recreation. And as you see there, a contingent awaiting the arrival of President Cyril Ramaphosa. Today, South Africa celebrating National Human Rights Day, and that question we asked you for the day: do you know your human rights? Which rights for you are more important? And some interesting reflections have come through, reflections on democracy, reflections on human rights in the country, and if democracy has served the process of administering or serving out human rights to South African communities. Of course, celebrations taking place across the country, and we're taking you to different parts of the country. Abongile Dumako brought us a Democratic Alliance celebration taking place in Mpumalanga this morning, and Tebogo was in Sharpeville, where the PAC alongside Azapo are insisting that they're marking Sharpeville Day, and the president of the PAC, Mr. Nyonzo, they're saying for them it's Sharpeville and Langa Day and not Human Rights Day. We're showing you live footage coming out of Koster outside the Reagile library, and we'll take you back there as soon as the president. We're told he has arrived. He just has to make his way through, and we'll take you through when that happens. Let's take a look at the tweets that came through this morning regarding the question of the day. All right, Ndata Omulimo, aka Nukes, says there is no need to celebrate anymore. As you see, there's too much unemployment. Till now, what about families who died? Government care about them, or does government care about them more? They know them today as we celebrate Mama Fubedu. Thanks for bringing that, highlighting that. A victor without victims, Azania Not Free, saying, how do we realize human rights led by the ANC, which is at war with itself, misusing state power against its own comrades? ANC speaking the enemy language. ANC deliberately makes sure that South Africans fail to use the democratic process. South Africa, we are not free. And Tebogo saying, human rights means access to roads, water and sanitation, unemployment and poverty. Just noting the things that have not been realized through democracy. But let's now take you back to Koster, where the official national celebrations are taking place for the South African 2022 Human Rights Day commemoration. And we showed you earlier people waiting for President Cyril Ramaphosa to make his way through to the Reagile Community Library, a newly built building that was formerly accommodated in an old unused municipal building, which was unsuitable as a library, but now a brand new library with latest technological facilities in place, and hopefully it will be put to good use by the community of Reagile. And the president making his way through to make that official opening of that Reagile library in the Koster community. There's President Cyril Ramaphosa there. Is he wearing a Mandela shirt? I'm going to try and look closer. I never know whether to consider it as a casual or a formal shirt, but there you have it. President Cyril Ramaphosa making his way through to come and officially open the Reagile library. Maybe we should listen in at this moment. Okay, some issues with audio, so we're going to have to...
The community of Koster will just listen in as the president hands over this Reagile Township Library. We are going to listen in as the president is handing over the library.
Re tlo go dira tiro e nnyane pele fela mme ke tona go ya ka batho ba Koster. Re tlo go ba bulela library ya bona gore bana ba tle ba kgone go ithuta sentle. Mme ke tsena go ye ke amogele magareng ga rona di ministera tse di leng teng. Ke tsena go ye ke amogele di MECs. Ke tsena go ye minister ke go amogele mo provinceng ya Bokone Bophirima. Ra leboga tona kholo ga nka ka amogela mo provinceng ya gago ke le ha sela gago. President, welcome. Ya leboga. Tiro ya rona fa ke go tlo go bula library, president. Gore bana ba gago ba kgone go bala ka go tlhola o bua ka education everything. So I will hand over to the Minister of Arts, Culture, Sports and Recreation, Minister Natim Tetra, for a kgone go fa president le premier le dira tiro ya letsatsi. Thank you.
Well, President, not an hour, but it's just a curtain for us to open. The premier will tell us what is written. So the Okay. Well, it's written, Republic of South Africa, that's the state, Reagile Community Library, officially opened by His Excellency Mr. Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa, on Human Rights Day, 21st March 2022. Thank you. Now, the President is going to show us how to get in here, so we will follow you.
That was Minister Natim Tetra with President Cyril Ramaphosa. As if you see there, they are about to cut the ribbon as the President will be walking into the new library. President Cyril Ramaphosa walking into the library. I can just say that we are going to rely on our net sound as only video journalists are allowed to get inside the library with the President. But President Cyril Ramaphosa is handing over the Reagile Community Library to the community of Reagile in Koster. This is where the National Human Rights Day commemorations are taking place, just a street away from this library. But Cyril Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa, walking into the new Reagile Library, as you saw there, accompanied by Minister Natim Tetra, that is the Minister of Arts and Culture.
President Cyril Ramaphosa doing a walkabout in the newly opened Reagile Community Library, which is a facility that Tebogo was telling us that the community desperately needs. A former library was inaccessible and in a dilapidated building, so that has been fixed. A new library opened, and you see there the beautiful beneficiaries of this facility, the young children of Reagile. And we're told that this venue is just about a street away from where President Cyril Ramaphosa will be delivering his 2022 Human Rights Day speech to South Africans. We will be bringing you that address live any moment now. As soon as they're done here, they should be going through to ensure that that address it comes through to all South Africans. But we're inside the Reagile Community Center. President interacting there with children. We apologize that we don't have audio coming out from there. I'm sure our viewers would like to know what that exchange is made of between the president and some of the young future beneficiaries of this facility that has just been launched. First a plaque was unopened, and then came so we're trying to fix our audio in this instance, but we'll bring you that as soon as we're through. It seems like we have sound. Let's just listen in. The young ones there displaying how they're going to be making use of the facility, reading out something to the president as part of the process to launch the Reagile Community Center, which is being launched on Human Rights Day 2022 in South Africa. Remember, Human Rights Day was declared a public holiday in 1994, and it was decided to hold it every year on the 21st of March, the day the Sharpeville massacre took place in 1960. This year, the government-led commemoration will take place in Koster, which is where the president is right now, in the town of Reagile in Koster, where the young ones are reading out to him, just in a display of how they will make use of this facility. Just a reminder of the events of Sharpeville in 1960. 69 people died on that day. 180 were wounded when police fired on a peaceful crowd and had gathered to protest against the pass laws. You will have seen in some of the tweets that have come through our viewers mentioning this horrible history of South Africa. It became an iconic date in South African history and a reminder of the cost paid for our human rights. The day is also commemorated by the United Nations as the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination. A program of action has been organized every year since 1979, when the General Assembly decided on a week of solidarity. President Cyril Ramaphosa is in Koster in the northwest, celebrating this year's Human Rights Day 2022. And just a few factors about Koster. It's a small farming town situated on the watershed between the Orange and Limpopo rivers. The town was proclaimed in 1913 and named after Bastian Koster, the original farm owner. And I'd like to compare this to the Irene situation, where Irene is a farm that was owned by a family, Irene, of course, in Tshwane. Similar situation here with Koster. Future opportunity with the young ones who will be the beneficiaries of this new facility that has just been unveiled by President Cyril Ramaphosa in the Reagile community as part of the Human Rights 2022 activations. And of course, we're going all around the country looking at different commemorations. The EFF will be in Sharpeville later today, but in the morning, Azapo, together with the Pan-Africanist Congress, were collaborating in their commemoration of the day, and they insist it's called Sharpeville Langa Day, and saying that there is more that the two parties will be collaborating on. The Democratic Alliance is in Mpumalanga this morning, and Abongile Tebogo is covering that story for us. And of course, we'll go to all the other provinces to monitor how Human Rights Day is being commemorated in those different parts of the country. And in our question of the day, which we're grateful that you've engaged with it so energetically, we're asking you, do you know your rights, and which human rights for you are the most important? And you can send your responses at the agenda_SABC. And we've been encouraging our viewers to also call in to talk about our question of the day. The number to call in on is 084-8133-465. You can either call in or you can send through a voice note telling us your thoughts about democracy in South Africa and how human rights have been upheld or not since democracy. 084-8133-465 is the number to call. President Cyril Ramaphosa doing a walkabout in the Reagile Community Library Center. And following this activation, the president will be going through to the venue where he will deliver this year's Human Rights Day address.